So my name is Thévenet-Abitbol, and I am responsible for developing new ideas for the Danone group. So what that means? Actually, I'm kind of a free electron. I have been hired by the former president of Danone, Franck Ribou, to be able to think differently about any kind of things, to bring new ideas to the group. That can be marketing ideas. For example, I have created a dairy brand, organic dairy brand named Les Deux Vaches, the two cows. Or it can be HR ideas, and that's exactly the EVE program, that is a female leadership program, or the OCTAVE program, which is about change management, digital and new generations, and all the generations in the company. So the interesting part of my job is I have no team and no money. So it means that each time I have an idea, I have to convince people inside Danone to put money on this idea, and I have to convince people to come and help me to develop the idea. So we have created the EVE program in order to help women to get promoted inside companies. One thing is sure, whatever the country, whatever the continent, we have the same issue, which is how can we break the glass ceiling? The glass ceiling between is this resisting ceiling that prevent women from getting to the top. To prevent the glass ceiling, we have an international answer, which is be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want to change things, you first have to change things by yourself, inside you. So you have the more connected you are with your inner values, the more rooted you are in your needs, the more powerful you become. And so what is important, and the advice is to all the women, but also to men, because actually, after all, it's a soft skill program, it's a program of leadership. So the main advice is, please take the time to breathe and to realize what you have inside, on what you can rely, what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths. And also, once you know your inner values, voice them. Tell what you want. Ask for it. Go for it. Because nobody will come and say, hello, you're very interesting, I'm going to help you. No, you have to help yourself first, and then you will be helped. So that's the main advice. Be yourself and unleash your potential. Mostly in the French education system, we come from Descartes, right? Cartesian. So we are very, we worked on being rational. And Anglo-Saxons have developed more the emotional side. And I think it's key today to develop this emotional side. That's the Anglo-Saxons who have developed this mindfulness, for example, attitude. Mindfulness meaning how can I connect to myself in this hyper-connected world. So it's not easy because it's not easy to link, to root to his own intuition, because nobody asks you that, but you have to ask yourself. You have to be sure that the intuition is your best ally. Sometimes when you don't feel something, it's very important that you respect this feeling, because if you don't feel it, it means you won't be totally aligned with it, and then you will be less strong. And then maybe if you don't feel it, probably your clients, your customers, your consumers, they won't feel it either. So it's hyper important to be connected to what you feel and what you don't feel. And you don't have to act like a little soldier. You don't have to say yes to everything. You have to say yes first to you. And if you have something that you don't feel at ease with it, please try to change the way to look at it in order. You don't have to escape from it. You just have to mold it in another way in order for you to feel at ease with it and have fun. Yes, actually, when someone hesitate to change things or to voice something, most of the time it's because this person is afraid. She's or he's afraid of losing his job, or maybe just afraid of losing the love of the person with who this person work. So fear is a very bad thing. You don't have to fear, because fear makes you narrow yourself, makes you feel, makes you lose the connection with your inner values. And so if you work at HEC, you are very well, you have great neurons, you have good brain. So it's okay, you can be resilient. If you lose something, you will win another things. So where is the fear? We can fear for being ill, or you can fear for your family, but don't fear for your job. You will be able to to jump to another one, and really the first obligation you have towards yourself is to be aligned with yourself and not to fear. You don't live in a country where fear is everywhere around the corner. So she and he, because we have a quota of men coming to Eve, because it's all together that we will succeed, that we will achieve. Okay. What really is striking at the EVE program is that, as you said, people come for 2 days and a half, and at the end, they are totally transformed. It's unbelievable. But it's just because something has changed. And this little thing is that most of the time, those people, they were a bit victims of the situation, or when they have something that is that they don't agree with, they just subissent, as they are submitting to that. And after Eve, they realize that in any bad situation, they are not only victims, they are part of the solution. And that's a hell of a change, because once you know that you can act, then you feel you're more in master. You can master your own destiny a bit more. You cannot do everything, of course, and it should be taught at school, at the very young people, saying, don't râle, don't be always complaining, because you're part of the solution. Don't think. All the big problems in the society, say, I don't like the rich people, I don't like the foreigners, I don't like whatever, because they feel they feared all those people. But once you understand that if you're not in a good situation, it's not because of all the people around you, it's also because of you. And then you know that you have a role to play, to be actor of change for yourself, and for the company, for the society, for who you want. Usually when I create new things, it's always linked with something which is in the air, that I feel bad about it, or I feel it's important to address this issue. So something which is in the air, that I connect with the genes of Danone. And I'm going to launch a new dairy brand in April that is going to be launched in not only in France but also in other countries. And I will be happy to come back to tell you about it because it's highly confidential. But just the thing you want me to say is probably it is that it's connected, as I said, with a society problem. And I will use the yogurt as the vehicle of a conversation between consumers to solve this society problem. And also, again, how I did it, because I don't belong to the dairy division, because I'm just free electron, so I work with everyone. I have this idea. I design it with no money. I just draw it because I want to design it very neatly in order that once I bring this idea to other people, you know that all the people have a point of view on it. I want to be very strict and aligned with my point of view, not to, because if not, I don't even know what I wanted at the beginning, at the end of the meeting. So I come with a very structured and designed idea, and then with a lot of enthusiasm, I try to convince the people to put money on it. That's what happened, and people to come and help me. So they decided it was a good idea for the dairy division, so they put money behind it. They gathered a team around it, and sometimes I must say that I'm a bit drawn in the big machine of Danone, and sometimes I feel I lost the how do you say le fil, the really the internal purpose of my idea. And so I try to convince, and I do a lot of tests to show that it's very important what I'm doing, and I lost myself. I remember a very specific case where I was doing so many things to please people, to be sure that my baby will be born and raised, that actually I was not very good enough, because I tried to please instead of trying to make people understand that the baby should remain as it is, no compromise. And the funny thing is, I have received an email from one of the person of the team saying, "Anne, please come back to who you are. Come back to when you say, I don't give a damn of surveys and studies, because I think things should be like that and full of conviction, and not full of fears and trying to please people, and because of course it's hard for everyone to be always aligned with our inner values. So it's interesting to have wake-up call, just to remind you that you should not lose what is important to you, even if it's to please others, because then you become just the shadow of yourself. Yes, EVE is a wake-up call every year, 3 times a year now with the regional edition, and they are saying that the more centered you are, the more powerful you are for yourself and for others.